G'day guys, and welcome to another quick tip tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create that classic camera shake effect. Now before we start, it's important to note that there are many different types of camera shake. There is the tripod style where the camera is sitting on a tripod and then vibrations either along the ground or sound waves through the air has caused the camera to shake. And then there's also the freehand camera shake where somebody's walking and there's the handheld motion, that kind of thing. The type that we're going to be creating in this tutorial is the first one. So essentially I've got two objects here, one hitting the ground at frame 10 and then the other one hitting the ground at frame 20. And we want there to be impact camera shakes for those 2 points essentially. So we're actually going to be using a cool function in Blender that enables us to generate motion without us having to do any hand animating ourselves. So it's a very cool, very quick effect, and I'm sure you guys will love it. So I'm just going to load up my starting scene right here, and you're welcome to use any type of scene you like. I've just put this together just to demonstrate it, I suppose. So what I want to do is select the camera first and then hit I, and then from the pop-up menu select rotation. Now if you split the view and then change this to be the graph editor, this enables you to see all the keyframes and things like that. By the way, it doesn't matter where you actually put the keyframe. You could put it at the start or the end of it, because we're going to be using modifiers to actually generate this motion, so it actually doesn't matter where you put the keyframe. Anyway, over here on the left hand side you can see you've got X, Y and Z rotation. Go ahead and delete Y and Z, because that's the roll and the left and right motion, which we don't actually want. We only want the up and down motion. Anyway, so with the Y rotation there selected, hit N, and that's going to bring up this toolbar here. And then at the bottom there, you can see you've got modifiers. Now, if you've never used F-curve modifiers before, it's essentially like using any other modifier for like a standard object. You know, these ones over here, I'm sure you're familiar with them. But yeah, it just allows you to add a generated effect, and then you can change the properties later. It's very cool, very intuitive. So I'm going to click Add Modifier and then select Noise. Now, Noise is probably the coolest modifier and my favorite of all in Blender, really. It just generates random fractal kind of motion across the course of the entire animation. It's really cool. It's just, you know, perfect for lazy people like me. It's not really that good at animating anyway, so it's just done all that randomness for you. Now, up until now, it was kind of a little bit limited because there wasn't really any easy way to flatten it out so that you could make the noise only affect certain parts of the animation, and you could see that it's across, you know, the entire, everywhere you look, there's that fractal noise. And we don't want there to be noise across the entire animation. We only want it to start at frame 10, then fade out, and then when it gets to frame 20, we want there to be another hit of the motion and then it to be fading out again. So yeah, there is a new feature down here that says restrict frame range. Now this is only a new feature which has been added in a recent build of graphical.org. So if you don't see these buttons, you're going to have to download a new build off graphical.org. I don't think it's in the official 2.59 release. Anyway, so that said, I'm going to go ahead and click that. And here you've got these functions. You've got start and end. These are the two main ones. And then down there you've got the fading out functions as well. So first thing I need to do is define the end frame of the first impact. So the starting frame is going to be frame 10. You have to put the end one in first though. So I'm just going to, you can see if you fast forward, I want the shaky motion to stop at around about frame 18. Okay, so I'm going to hit, just type in 18 there, and I want the start to be obviously when the text hits the ground. So I'm going to select 10, like so. So you can see in the viewport what it's done there is it's just essentially just cut off that shake, and so that it only occurs in that one small segment of the animation. Now in this out right here, this is very important. This is the gradual fade out of that noise effect, because currently it's very shaky right the way up to the end, and then it suddenly stops. So if you change this to be 8, you can see that it now fades out the noise effect as it gets towards the end of it. Now I've selected 8 because there are 8 frames between 10 and 18. So if you set that to be 3 or something, it's just going to fade it out over a shorter period of time. Anyway, so I'm setting that to 8, and that is looking fine. Now we want there to be another impact occurring when the second text hits the ground, and that is at frame 20. So the way we're going to have to do that is add another noise modifier. Okay, so I'm just going to place that directly underneath the first one there, and I'm just going to restrict these frames. So this one's going to be 28, that's when it's going to fade out, and this one is going to be frame 20. And again, I'm going to set that gradual amount there to be 8. So yeah, that's essentially it. That's how we've got that camera motion to occur at those 2 points. Now you'll notice that at the moment the shake is a little bit too violent. You'll see that the camera's moving around a little bit too much. Now this is going to vary depending on your type of scene, but for this one what I want to do is set the where's the amplitude. I'm going to set that to be 0.2. Okay, so it's very, very subtle little shake. And I'm also going to set the scaling to be 0.3. So that's going to add a little bit more closer spaced randomness. So that just shows you as an example how that looks. And I'm going to do the same for this one here. Set that to 0.3 and then that one to 0.2. So that just gives you a little bit more, a little bit less of a camera shake. I might actually, let's just try 0.1. I think even 0.2 is a little bit too much. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty good. It's important not to go overboard with this shaky effect there. I mean, you know, people always pay out Michael Bay because he's always, you know, going overboard with, you know, effects like this and among other things. But anyway, don't make it so blurry that people can't see what's happening. Anyway, now there's one final thing that you might want to do. I'm sure probably most of you know how to do this already, but we need to add vector blur. And the vector blur is essentially so that as the camera moves or as other objects in the scene move, that you get that blurry trail type of effect. So to do that, you need to go to the render settings and then underneath layers, go down and you'll see a checkbox for vector. So go ahead and check that, and that will ensure that when you render the scene, let's just move to, oh, I don't know, let's go there, somewhere where there's motion. Anyway, it ensures that when you render it, it actually calculates the speed of all the objects in the scene. So that's how you're going to get this motion blur effect. Anyway, we'll just wait for this to render. And there we go. And then once it's finished rendering, jump over to the compositor. And all you need to do is hit Shift A, select filter, and then vector blur. And we just need to connect the yellow to the yellow, the blue, the blue to the blue, the Z to the Z. Connect these up like this, and I'm going to change the number of samples to be 64. That just kind of increases the quality of the blur. And I'm also going to check curved, and that's so that you don't get that comet trail effect on motion. You get the blur occurring before and after the object is moving, so it's a little bit more accurate that way. Anyway, wait for it to finish compositing. Still going. Any minute now. And there you go. It's very, very subtle there. Obviously, that's going to change depending on how fast the camera's moving at that point in the animation. But that's essentially it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick tip tutorial. Have fun with it, and thanks for watching.